All right, let's talk about the Chicago Bears here for a little bit. Look, we all know at this point the Bears are going to select Caleb Williams. It would be absolutely shocking if they went another direction. There was some rumors and speculation earlier this offseason, but at this point, 99.99999% odds that the Bears are going to pick up quarterback Caleb Williams. So it's important to look at what Williams is doing and how he is going to approach this situation. And he's taking a unique approach in terms of what it would be like for him to be the Bears franchise quarterback. And I think it's a really interesting update. Let's get into this latest news involving Caleb Williams, and then we'll talk about it more in detail on the other side. This is according to Bears Digest. Besides being one of the more talented quarterbacks the Bears have ever drafted, a little presumptive, but I get it, Caleb Williams might be the one with the most personality, at least after he actually becomes a Chicago quarterback on draft day. That's saying a lot after Jim McMahon's run to the Lombardi Trophy and Super Bowl 20. At least Williams would be the one who most reflects his personality over social media and engages fans. This much can't be disputed for better or worse. Williams has already caused a ripple by refuting charges by ESPN analyst Eric McElroy on social media. It's just not common for a Bears quarterback to get on social media and fire off some clever comments answering criticism. On Saturday, Williams engaged in some laughable moments over a tweeted fake video of him dancing. One was also done of team board chairman George McCaskey. Williams will bring definite change in the way the passing game has been viewed by one of the NFL's oldest organizations, and he made it apparent this might be a new era for Bears quarterbacks in another way. All right, so I know a lot of old school people may not love what Caleb Williams is doing here, his mentality, his approach. I think it's an interesting idea, and I think it has a chance to have a great impact for the Chicago Bears. Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, but first, Bears fans in the comment section below. Look, we know what the Bears are likely to do with number one overall at this point. Of course, it's Caleb Williams. But what do you think the Bears should do with a second first-round pick? Do you have a player you think they should acquire? Do you think they should trade back and get more draft capital? Let us know in the comment section below what you think the Bears should do with their second first-round pick. But Miles, give me your thoughts on Caleb Williams' comments and just his overall mentality and what it could mean for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, Nick, I think that this is very interesting, as you said, as well. I know in the past, like we said, we have thought this in the past. I know a lot of older fans think this way. They think social media is bad. They think people should just, sit, play football, and don't worry about the outside world. Don't respond to outside world. It's almost like Bears fans, Mitch Trubisky, when he said we kind of need to turn all the TVs off in Hallis Hall and don't listen to the outside noise. We need to, focus on football. And I understand that, and I get that to a certain extent. But the fact of the matter is we're in 2024, in this day and age, social media isn't even a new thing anymore. It's been around for a long time, and it's about time that somebody started utilizing it. And who more than the potential next face of your franchise, Caleb Williams? And I like the way that he's gone about it. The three instances we hear about, A, someone criticizing him for, not having the chip on his shoulder, not having faced adversity, kind of fires back at McElroy and says, hey, I have done those things. I've gone up against tough defenses. I've had adversity, in my career already. I'm a player who's ready to play. I like that. I like standing up for yourself and saying that you are a football player who is ready to rise to the occasion. The second one, going back and forth with fans, having a dialogue about a funny video of him dancing up to the podium. I think that is great. I think that shows, he's already engaging and in touch with the fan base. And as a fan base, you love to have a face of the team that is engaged with what the fan base wants. And, it feels like that you can interact with them. Feels like you can talk with them. I think that is very nice as well. And then finally, I think the other things where, he just makes jokes. Like people asked him what he was going to wear on stage. There's videos out there of him, like he has like pink fingernail polish on and pink phone. People are like, oh, what are you going to wear on stage to meet Roger Goodell? And he had some funny comebacks, funny comments that he made about that as well. I just think in this day and age, it is very nice for the Bears to potentially, it has not happened yet, for to potentially have a guy to come in and embrace social media. I think this is going to be, if he does it the right way, and it seems thus far in the examples pointed out in the article, these are the right ways to do it. If people criticize your play, come back and just show your love of the game and be fiery and passionate about how you're ready to rise to the occasion. If a fan sends you something nice, interact with them. Tell them that's great. Keep the fan base, strong in Chicago. And then finally, make jokes, make levity, make everything seem, a little bit lighthearted because in this day and age, we need stuff like that. So I think social media is ever growing and really important for the NFL as a whole. And I think so far how Caleb Williams has been handling the social media, there's nothing to worry about. I think he's doing it the right way. And I think this will be a great change for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, so first and foremost, before I give you your thoughts, shout out to Bears Digest for getting it's on Eric McElroy. They got it wrong. It's Greg McElroy, the former quarterback for the University of Alabama. So Bears Digest need a little bit better editor over at that site. But talking about Caleb Williams here, look, I really like it because one of the things I think is really important when you're an up and coming team, when you're trying to break through like the Bears are trying to do right now, there's this weird dynamic where everyone just expects you to just sit there and just take it from the media and just sit there and say, you stink, you stink, you stink, you stink, you're just not a good football team, and you just have to sit there and just whatever the media narrative that's allowed to go through the airwaves, ESPN, Fox Sports, you just have to accept it. I love players that don't accept it. And that's what we're seeing from Caleb Williams. I love the fact you've got McElroy going on his ESPN show and saying Caleb Williams has never faced adversity and Caleb Williams is going back at him, right? I love quarterbacks that are doing it. The engagement with the fans, I think, is a good idea early on. Obviously, if you have a game where you throw 3 or 4 interceptions, don't want to clap back at the fans. But I really love the fact that he's pushing back against the media because I think that is one of the real important narratives to get the team behind you because the quarterback in today's day and age, it's been like this for a little while now, it's a celebrity, right? You're ahead of the rest of the team. You're just more prominent. You're more visible. People know who you are. And that's just obviously the way it's been in the NFL for decades at this point. So when you have that platform and you push back against the media, people that are criticizing you and your team, that has a galvanizing input. Because look, if the left guard comes out and criticizes the media, even a great player like, let's say, Montez Sweat does that, people just say, who cares? It's Montez Sweat, right? We'll disregard him. But Caleb Williams does it. It's big news. We're talking about it. It was all over Twitter. It was or X or whatever it's called these days. ESPN has been talking about Caleb Williams' response to ESPN's attack on Caleb Williams, right? And that's what the quarterback position can do. And using that platform to push back creates that us versus them mentality. It gets people behind you. And people really, again, it's modern era, it's Gen Z kind of stuff, but pushing back on social media is sort of the new way you can push back and create that us versus them, that locker room unity culture. I talk to a lot of people that are younger that are in that Gen Z, and they treat the social media commentary almost like it's face-to-face. To them, it's the same thing. Right. And again, I feel like that's kind of strange, but that's just the way they do it. And all these guys in the locker room, for the most part, are going to be early, mid-20s, Gen Zers, just like Caleb Williams. So what we're seeing from Williams here is him using his platform, helping to create an us versus them mentality that's going to be with the Chicago Bears, which will allow that locker room to build together and push back against these media narratives and redefine this team. They're not going to let ESPN define who they are. They're not going to let Fox Sports, whoever, define who they are. Caleb Williams, being the leader of this team most likely going forward, they're going to set the narrative. They're going to be in the media what they want it to be. And I really like that from the quarterback position because that galvanizes the locker room. It creates that unity, which the Bears will need as they look to take a big step in 2024.